one of Hollywood's biggest directors. You know her from what has become a cult classic film, Love and Basketball, and her Netflix movie that everybody's talking about, The Old Guard. From Love and Basketball to The Secret Life of Bees to Beyond the Lights and even television, Felicity, Shots Fired, A Different World. Please welcome director Gina Prince-Bythewood. Hey, Gina.
Hey, Tammi.
So is it a different world from where you come from?
These last 2 weeks, no doubt.
It's definitely a different world. Well, you know what, though? It's definitely a different world for minorities this award season. 33% of the nominees are female directors and 41% are non-white actors. Can you believe that, Gina?
No, it was a beautiful day today. Beautiful day.
Without a doubt. What do you think has been the turnaround? Has it been the quality of our work, or has it been this whole Black Lives Matter movement?
I'm going to say, I think it's a couple things. Success begets success, absolutely, in this industry. And those of us who have gotten into that door have been working hard and grinding to make sure that we're putting out good work, and that gives opportunities to others. And I mean, I think we're all pushing each other to elevate the work and never settle. And there's been really great stuff out there, really great performances. So it's definitely a watershed year, and now we just got to keep building on this.
Yeah. So let's talk about The Old Guard. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. Let me ask you this first, though, Gina. Do you get tired of talking about being a woman, being Black in the industry? Should it even be addressed at all?
It has to be addressed. I mean, the disparities are embarrassing, and the lack of opportunity is embarrassing. And it's been something that we've been fighting for a very long time. And even now in 2020, the fact that I'm the first in 2020, we got to keep talking about it.
Yeah. Kudos on being the first. The Old Guard. A $70 million budget. What was your smallest budget ever?
That was Beyond the Lights, 7.2.
From 7.2 to 70 million.
Yeah, I went backwards. My movies, every movie your budget's supposed to get bigger, but I started Love and Basketball was 14, then Secret Life of Bees was 11, and then Beyond the Lights was 7. So, but you take what you can get and make the best movie that you can.
Well, I guess you can make a pretty damn good movie with $70 million, and you did it on Netflix. I will say that. So aside from that $70 million budget, though, what are the differences in directing this movie than all of your other familiar favorites, Gina?
I mean, movies of this size, it's tough. There's a lot. The pressure is tenfold. When you're dealing with that much money, I mean, I always have a no fail policy and a fear of failure. This is just elevated. Because when people are giving you this opportunity, when they believe that you were the right person to do this gig and to tell the story and to handle this, you want to prove them right. And that was a really big thing for me. There's also a lot more voices in the mix when you're dealing with something this size. And so you're essentially in a sustained fight for a year, just fighting for your vision, making sure at the end of this, I can look up on the screen and see my vision and see the story I wanted to tell. And that takes fight, and I think a little more fight on movies like this. But it just takes all limits off your imagination. That amount of money gives you more time and more toys, and you think it and you can actually do it. And that's a really beautiful thing.
I didn't even know Netflix did $70 million movie budgets. I know they was paying Dave Chappelle and them $60 and $70 million though. But what is the difference between the movie being a digital movie? Look, we live in a digital world now, and this is very different than being in the movie theaters. And even when we talked about the nominations this year, most of those Emmy nominations were for HBO and Netflix. Yeah. And we're losing, who's losing the game right now? The traditional platforms are losing the game when it comes to the quality of work and what people are watching. So how was that transition from the movie screen to Netflix?
Yeah, it was deep. I love theaters. I love the theatrical experience. I love the bigness. Like sitting in the theater, you get enveloped by the sound and the picture, that collective experience of an audience. So when we decided to go to Netflix, it was with the condition that we would have both theatrical and it dropping on Netflix. Now COVID has kind of blown that out the water, but I do look forward to people who dig the movie having the opportunity to go to the theater. But I mean, I was resistant at first because I just had never had something on Netflix, and I didn't want to get away from that. But Netflix, they wanted this film, this action film with two women at the center, whereas traditional studios were afraid of that, afraid that there wasn't enough audience. So there's a thing of go where you wanted, and Netflix offered us, substantially more money than the studios were going to. And then the fact that this movie dropped in 190 countries in one day, like that's insane. You cannot wrap your head around it. And for a weekend, this movie was the most popular movie in the world. And that coming from the movies I've done, where I've been told all the time on every film, your films don't travel, your characters don't travel. So we get no foreign distribution, no foreign press. I mean, that's tough to hear. And it's what Hollywood does to our films. But here now that it was completely wide open, the world was, and the world got to see Kiki Lane as this young Black female warrior hero, got to see Joe and Nikki, this queer couple who are heroes, see Joe, a Muslim, as a hero. That's pretty amazing to me.
Yeah, the diversity in the film was absolutely wonderful. And like you say, they say that this doesn't travel well, but I think it's a movie where we didn't miss anything. We didn't miss a man being the hero. We didn't miss two women fighting in sexy cat suits. We did not miss. I was not looking at Charlize and Kiki going, why they fighting in blue jeans and t-shirts? Take that off. I was not thinking that one bit. And I appreciated the love of the queer couple. Like it was a realistic loving moment. Every time they showed them. And it also like slapped you in the face if you had a problem with it. Like, oh, okay, never mind.
What was dope about that is, again, what I loved about the script when I read it, and then the graphic novel, though Joe and Nikki are in there, and it felt different. I felt like I hadn't seen those characters before, but you still don't know how an audience is going to react. And you think about the traditional audience of these films. But when we were shooting that on set, we finished, and I remember two different male crew members came up to me and said, and they looked kind of confused, but they said, I love that scene. And I feel like I just watched two people in love, not two men in love, just two people in love. And that blew me away. But that's what we were trying to achieve, is just.
Yeah, it wasn't this stereotypical salacious love relationship between two gay men. It was not that. And I think anybody in the LGBTQ plus community could appreciate that relationship. I want to talk about allies. And in this instance, let's talk about white male allies. I love Rian Johnson, Knives Out. And I know that he tweeted your Beyond the Lights. He kind of congratulated you on Beyond the Lights. And from that point on, I guess you guys developed a relationship. But how do white men become allies for women directors or women producers in Hollywood?
It's a big deal. As women, as we're coming up, you hear all these different stories that, this guy, this famous director saw this guy's short film or this guy's independent film at Sundance, and then he recommended him to Spielberg, and now this guy is now directing Jurassic Park. Like, that's how it works. We were always shut out of that. But Ryan, as you said, that's how we met, because he tweeted out something positive about Beyond the Lights, and I reached back, and then he did a whole thing at BFI where he moderated a screening Beyond the Lights, and then I got to go on the set of Star Wars and experience what that was and get a feel for it and talk to him about it. And once I got this gig of The Old Guard, he was somebody I could call and ask questions, and the people that he introduced me to, like that's an ally. He was my champion, and I'm grateful to him for that.
I know you're an athlete, but one of our soulmates is chiming in here. RJ Renee says, was Love and Basketball based off Gina's life? She looks like a baller.
I mean, no doubt. It was half autobiographical. I grew up playing ball ever since I was 5 years old, and being an athlete was absolutely my life. My first kiss mine was 10 seconds, but we did count up.
Y'all actually counted it?
We did. But no, it's so much fun as a writer to pull stuff from your life and kind of have that as that base and then build on it and tell a bigger story. But I think the best stories, especially the first thing you come out with, should be a personal story, because your first thing tells Hollywood, tells the world who you are as an artist and what you're about. So come out banging, come out telling the world about yourself. And that's what Love and Basketball was for me.
Yeah. You mentioned, I think I either heard or read where you said that you didn't want the old guard to be a celebration of violence. What did you mean by that?
I love action movies. I don't like gratuitous violence. And for me, when I went in to pitch for this, that was my pitch, that this is an action film. It's about mercenaries and immortal mercenaries. It is a violent film, and I will be unapologetic about that. But it should never and will never feel like a celebration of violence, where we are doing things to titillate based on violence. You're not going to see a head get cut off and fly towards the camera. You're not going to see an eye pop out. You're not going to see people blasting somebody for no reason. Like our old guard, if you really watch the film very carefully, our heroes are always one shot, one kill, brutally efficient, because that's how they were trained and that's their mentality. They don't spray, they're not lazy, and their mantra is kill one to save many. But there's a toll to that, and to be able to be truthful in this film about the toll of killing and not make it feel as if it's easy. You're never going to see a funny quip after somebody shoots somebody. Killing is something serious. And
were you a fan of the comic, or had you ever heard of the comic before?
I didn't. I was familiar with his work. Greg Rucka is a great writer, but I hadn't read it. So I got to read the script and be surprised, which I'm really happy about, because that's what really drew me to it. The fact that the story kept surprising me and kept changing, and I just got more excited about the chance to bring these characters to life.
Why aren't there any Black action movies with Black action women? I like Black Lightning. I love Black Lightning. I love Luke Cage. We were getting there. But why do you think that hasn't been so?
I don't know. I just know, thank gosh for Black Panther. Black Panther changed the game, changed culture, absolutely opened up the door, and showed that there is a desire, not only for us so hardcore to see ourselves reflected as heroes, but the world needs to see us as heroes, and the world clearly will accept seeing us as heroes. So I'm grateful, and now it is our turn. I mean, little white boys get to grow up and see themselves as heroes 100 different ways. We don't have that, but can you imagine the difference it would be for us as young Black women to grow up seeing ourselves heroically? Absolutely would change the game. So that's absolutely my goal now.
When Hollywood says that we don't translate well overseas, is that propaganda? Is that we just don't want to do it? Or is that we've tried it, been there, done that, doesn't work?
They haven't tried. It's just something that they say, as opposed to, okay, let's attack it. Let's actually put in the money, put in the time. Yes, you have to build an audience like anybody does, but they don't even try. They just assume it's not going to work. So I just have some test cases and put the money behind it, put the time behind it, and I guarantee you that narrative will change.
You're getting ready to work on a film with Viola Davis? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's an incredible story, historical epic, based on the true story of the Dahomey women who were incredible warriors, and that kingdom was actually protected by these female warriors. And it's a beautiful mother-daughter story at the heart of it, but also the way that they protected the kingdom from those that were trying to enslave them. And Viola Davis.
And Viola Davis, yeah. Need we say more? Viola Davis and Gina Prince-Bythewood. Okay. I want to ask you this. What are some of the changes you would like to see come from this whole Black Lives Matter movement? The fact that we've got more nominations in the Emmys. Hopefully it will translate to the Oscars, and hopefully we'll see more Black female directors doing their thing with different genres of film. What is it that you would like to see come from this?
Exactly what you just said. I want to see more of us having the opportunity to tell our own stories in every single genre. We deserve to be in every single genre. The breadth of our humanity is so great, and we've only seen this much of it. And we just need the opportunity to start to be able to tell our stories from our own perspective, our own gaze. And it will absolutely change the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that to my heart. Are you still going to be writing? Are you going to be writing movies and producing movies some more?
Hey, it was funny, as I was editing The Old Guard, and The Old Guard was a 2-year journey. So, I mean, it was a lot. And by the end of it, I just could not wait to take a break and sit down and take 6 months off and write this story that's been in my head for the last couple of years. And when it stays like that, that was the same of Love and Basketball and the same of Beyond the Lights, this thing that gnawed at me. So I'm so excited. And so that was the plan. And then the script for A Woman King came to me, and I was like, I
gotta do this.
Yeah, so that writing will have to wait probably another 1.5 years.
Okay, well, we'll be waiting for everything you have in store for us, Gina. Thank you so much for being on the Tammi McLeod Show. And I'll be waiting one day to work with you as well.
No doubt. We were so close.
We were close, but that's okay. We're still here.